Hey guys and gals, welcome back to another Gemini Scale Model Works video. Hi, I'm Vinny and I will be your host. I had mentioned to you guys in several of my videos that there was a third car involved in the night that I had run the Roadrunner. And you guys saw me do the unboxing, but this is the third car that was involved. So, I'm going to include this car, and I think I mentioned this already, but I am going to include this car into the group build, Street Machines group build. So, in order to do that, I need to get this car up to the same state of completion as the Roadrunner and the Chevelle. Stay tuned to the end because I'm going to give you a paint job comparison. So with all that being said, let's get down to the bench and see what's going on. Talk to you in a little bit. Bye. Hey guys and gals, welcome back to part 7 of Street Machines Group Build 2024. Alright, so when I left off in the last video, I had a lot of parts that had to be painted and so on and so forth, and I did not show you the engine, but here's the engine. I cheated, of course. I'm doing these 3 builds basically with rattle cans, and it's all going to be Tamiya because I found out that Testers does not like to play with Tamiya, so I'm not using testers. That was one problem I had with the black earlier. Anyhow, with that being said, first thing I want to do is get this floor panel completed so I can put it together and get this car standing up on its wheels. Once I get that done, I'll go ahead and drill the holes out for the spark plugs on here. And as you can see, I did paint the engine. I used aluminum on the oil pan and the transmission. This still needs to get painted. I'm probably going to paint that black. Exhaust manifolds. I used a Krylon product, which is called Barn something or other. Red Barn or something crazy like that. The springs were done with Rust-Oleum Oxide Red, that's it. Oxide Red. Sorry about that. Differential was done with, same as this, which is the semi-gloss black, as well as the firewall and the radiator. So, I'm going to finish masking. First, I'm going to paint up. I got some more parts to paint up. I got the power brake booster, the carburetors, and then I have the starter and the heater hoses. That's cool that they gave you the heater hose. I like that. Saves a whole bunch of time. And then the shock absorbers. So all of those need to get primed. And while I'm waiting for those to dry, I'm going to go ahead and finish masking this guy off so I can go ahead and paint these rails the same color as these, which is the gunmetal. So with all that being said, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Oh yeah, one other thing I forgot to mention. I'm pretty happy with the way the paint came out. I don't know how, but there's a lot of micro scratches in there, and I have not really touched this while the paint was wet or anything like that. But anyhow, I am really happy with the color. I am going to hit this one more time with a 15 thousandths sanding stick. And then, of course, all 3 cars will get clear coated. So, that being said, I hopefully going to get paint on the body today, as well as everything else. So, as you can see, the body is in prime. It looks really good. This was the Tamiya from a spray can, a rattle can. And I see a little, there it goes, it's gone. Alright, so I could paint these guys black, but I'm not going to paint them black. I'll leave them the car color because the spoiler itself is black, and I think that'll be a nice contrast. Anyhow, Alright, let's get on to building this thing up. Be right back. Okay, boys and girls, we are now sitting at my spray booth, and I have my can of Mica Red ready to go. I got my safety equipment to put on, and I'm going to stay quiet during the process, but I just want to let you guys know what's going on. So, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and mask up, and we'll start. I'm going to let it sit for a minute or two, and then we'll spray it again. Alright, boys and girls, what you're looking at now is the first coat of paint on my Plymouth Duster. It looks pretty good, actually. Only thing I'm concerned about, what happened on the hood is happening on this also. It's got a bunch of these micro scratches in it, and I never touched this as far as sanding this car. Never. And I'm just wondering if that's a defect in the paint. But I was able to get them out of here. And this does look like a different color, doesn't it? Maybe not. Or maybe because I already did the waxing and all that stuff. Maybe that's why it's different. It is definitely a different red on this. Anyhow, I'm going to let this sit up for a while. Maybe a day or so. And then I'll hit it with a second coat. So, we'll get that out of the way. Now, I did go ahead and paint these guys, which is my starter, my heater hoses, carburetors, and brake booster. All of these, except for this, well even this, because I don't have spray rubber black, but these will get rubber black. Then these will be multicolor on the brake booster, and so on and so forth. So with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of this guy masked off so I can paint those rails and start putting this car together. Alright, we'll be back in a little bit. Alright guys, now that I have this all painted up, well not all, I still got to do the fuel tank and the spare tire well. But I'll tell you one thing, I'm using this Tamiya, or Tamiya, however you want to call it. And this is like 20 minutes and it's already dry to the touch. But I'm just not really liking all these scratches and stuff up here. I don't know if you guys can see all of that. Can you guys see that? There you go, right there. But I think that'll come out once I start working on the body, on the paint. Anyhow, we're going to start doing the spark plug holes here. I already marked off where they need to go according to a picture I watched on YouTube. So, we'll begin. I already did the first one. And I'll start on the second, and so on. Okay, boys and girls, we're back at the workbench now, and I do have everything painted on the chassis, as you can see. I painted all of this up here with the gunmetal, and I also masked everything off and did the rails back here with gunmetal. I painted this with the bare metal silver. No, sorry, I painted that with aluminum. Now, up to this point, this build has been pretty good. So far, everything's going together nice and easy. But now I get to the exhaust. Two problems. Two issues, not problems. But you guys can see they had those mounting points right there. You got one here and one here. And there's two mounting holes, 1 and 2. Problem is, these holes were not big enough, so I had to drill the holes out. And the second problem is, once I get these in place, which have to go under the sway bar, under the steering linkage, and then plug it into the holes, thusly. So I go to put the rear exhaust on there, and guess what? If I use the holes on this side, it looks like it'll line up. But when I tried to put this side in, it was giving me a rough time. But let me check it out one more time. Maybe I was making a mistake. I'm going to go ahead and mount the main exhaust, and then we'll come back and do the final exhaust. I have to do this before I put the rear suspension in. So, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, boys and girls, we are back down at the bench, and now what we are looking at right now is the upper, this guy, is the Roadrunner engine and chassis, and you can see that the engine is all wired up and ready to go, and the underneath is complete as far as painting and all of that. Now, I have not done any weathering on here yet, probably will eventually. So, that's the Roadrunner. Now, I'm going to have special announcement about this car here, so make sure you stay tuned to the end. Okay, so let's move this over now, and this is the Chevelle, and again, all the wiring is done. New carburetors on there, just got to figure out how to run fuel lines. Battery and battery cables are there. Motor's not glued in yet. Wheels and tires are on, and the underneath is done except for the drive shaft. And I am running a fuel line. You can see the fuel line in there, and I'll be doing the same to all three vehicles. Now, for the Duster, here we are. Engine, wiring, as far as the ignition system goes, that is done. Tri-power is on. The engine still needs to get complete. So do these two. As you can see, the front of the engines are not complete yet. No fan, no shroud, nothing like that. It is standing on all fours. Oops, the engine just fell out. The fronts are really loose. They just fall right off. But the underneath is pretty much complete as it goes right now. So, now that those are out of the way, I will show you. Let me get this engine. Put him kind of in his cradle. Oops, come back here, you. Yeah, these fronts are the loosest. By the way, all three of these cars roll. That's what it looks like with the engine in the chassis. Alright, so now I also want to get the car in color. Now, you already saw a preview of the color, but this is the second coat. Let me back that. Oops, the other way. This is the second coat, and this is that mica red. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of gold metal flake in there, and all those scratches I was talking about, they're pretty much gone. So this car and the other two will get wet sanded because they have not been touched as far as wet sanding goes. But this is how this car looks at the present time. That's just the paint on there. Okay, so now I will show you all three cars in color. There's the Duster. And here is the Chevelle. And here is the Roadrunner. Now, the special announcement about the Roadrunner. Let me get these other two out of the way so they don't get hurt. I am going to be switching gears on this model. What do I mean by that? I mean that this is a 1971, right? 71 Roadrunner, I believe. Oh, sorry, it's a 70 Roadrunner. Two things. I don't like the way the paint came out. It looks good, but you can see on the roof all of that stuff that's going on the roof right there. And also the hood is a different paint than the rest of the car. When I stripped this car down, there's a few places that I forgot to do. Like right here on the A-pillars and along the drip rail here. And the same thing on this side. You can see it's like really messed up. I don't know if you guys can see that. So, I have made a decision. Even though I am as far as I am with this build, number one, it's the wrong scale. It's 1/24th versus 1/25th. The Chevelle and the Duster are both 1/25th. So I am going to change the model. I'm going to be building a 68 Roadrunner instead of this. And I'll just pretend that that was the car that I raced that night, because the Roadrunner, the 68 Roadrunner is 1/25th scale, and I think it will fit this situation a lot better. Anyhow, I hope you guys and gals enjoyed this video, and as always, your questions, comments, input, subs, shares, and likes are always welcome. For now, that's all, folks. Gemini Scale Model Works out for now. Bye.